recovering and maintaining confidence in our systems, institutions, societies, even under attack. It requires not only technology, but also governance, accountability, oversight that move in step with innovation. Resilience, in turn, is what builds trust. The foundation of the digital economy. Digital trust is what gives society confidence that their personal data is secure, their online transactions are reliable, and the services they depend on, be it healthcare, education, and other public services, are safe. Without trust, innovation stalls, investments hesitate, and the digital economy falters. This is what we mean by digital trust untuk rakyat, or for society. Trust that empowers every Malaysian to embrace digital technology in everyday life with confidence. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, here lies Cybersecurity Malaysia's role. Our mission is to make digital trust tangible, operational, and effective. Together with our strategic partners under the Cybersecurity Collaboration Program, or CSM-CP, we support the National Security Agency, NACSA, in safeguarding national critical information infrastructure, provide trusted cybersecurity certification services, develop industry standards, and deliver capacity building programs that raise the bar for cyber professionals across the ASEAN region. We remain firmly committed to capacity building. As of August 2025, Cybersecurity Malaysia has successfully trained 18,764 knowledge workers across critical domains, including digital forensics, governance, risk and compliance, incident handling response, cryptography, as well as security assurance. Through hands-on training programs, we truly believe that investing in human capital remains a cornerstone of our mission to build a safer and resilient digital nation. Based on the 2023 study on the demand for technical and vocational education training, or TVET, conducted by JPK, CIAST, and CSM, the demand for skilled professionals in these areas, we project to be a minimum of 28,000 people by the year 2026. Our initiatives are a key component of this national strategy to bridge the talent gap and ensure Malaysia remains equipped to meet emerging cybersecurity challenges. In a tangible demonstration of our commitment to advance cybersecurity and digital forensics, Cybersecurity Malaysia recently spearheaded the establishment of the nation's first vehicle forensics laboratory, launched by Yang Berhormat Gobind, Minister of Digital, a couple of weeks ago. The state-of-the-art facility enhances technical capabilities in investigating road accidents, cross-border crimes, as well as human trafficking cases. Beyond supporting law enforcement, which is a critical role for CSM, the lab enables vehicle data retrieval, crash data analysis, dashcam preservation, engine control unit or the ECU examination, and cybersecurity assessment of the entire vehicle systems. This initiative exemplifies Cybersecurity Malaysia's unwavering dedication to protect society from increasingly sophisticated digital threats, while strictly upholding data privacy laws. On the international front, Cybersecurity Malaysia continues to strengthen regional collaboration through sustained strategic partnerships with our esteemed counterparts across ASEAN, most of whom are here today with us. These include the Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore, Indonesia's Badan Cyber dan Sandi Negara, BSSN, Cybersecurity Brunei, the National Cybersecurity Agency of the Kingdom of Thailand, the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications of the Kingdom of Cambodia, the Ministry of Technology and Communications of the Lao People's Democratic Republic, and the Department of Information and Communications of the Republic of the Philippines. These collaborations strengthen ASEAN's ability to respond collectively to threats, as reflected by the saying, "A chain is only as strong as its weakest link." Ladies and gentlemen, Cyber DSA is more than an event, as Tan Sri had mentioned earlier. It is where vision translates into operational outcomes. Here, strategy, technology, operations, and most importantly, people come together in ways that no single entity can achieve alone. What makes Cyber DSA different from other events is our unique focus on bridging strategy with the real operational impact that it allows. Cyber DSA is purpose-built to convene policymakers, defense leaders, technology innovators, and operational experts under one roof here at MITEC. It is a blend of thought leadership and hands-on collaboration that positions Cyber DSA as the region's premier platform for cyber defense and security. In this year's edition, I'm happy to note that participants can look forward to, number one, exploring frameworks for building digital trust. Number two, position for the upcoming and aggressive AI-driven cybersecurity solutions. Number three, to prepare for post-quantum safe migrations, which is already here upon us. And of course, to explore programs for regional talent development, which is the bedrock of our industry. This collaborative posture, enabled by the Ministry of Digital's policy direction and Cybersecurity Malaysia's operational prowess, strengthens ASEAN as a region with cyber resilience. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, resilience and trust are not built in isolation, which is why we're here. We grow stronger through collaboration, sharing, and collective action. Cyber DSA embodies this principle. At the international level, Malaysia actively contributes to several key platforms dedicated to advancing cybersecurity efforts. Cybersecurity Malaysia, for example, is an active member of the Forum of Incident Response and Securities Teams. First, the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, Computer Emergency Response Team, OIC CERT, and the Asia Pacific Computer Emergency Response Team, AP CERT. Through these multilateral engagements, we affirm our commitment to global best practices, technical collaboration, and the continuous exchange of priceless experiences. These concrete commitments demonstrate that Cyber DSA is not merely a forum for dialogue, but a catalyst for operational collaboration and collective resilience. We at Cybersecurity Malaysia, in full support of our National Cybersecurity Agency, reaffirm our commitment to collaborate and jointly protect ASEAN's digital infrastructure, build talent, and cooperate regionally long after this event concludes. What Cybersecurity Malaysia offers to Malaysia and ASEAN is threefold. First, by expanding our cyber talent pipeline through structured certification programs and specialized training to meet ASEAN's growing demand for skilled professionals. Second, by strengthening cross-border information sharing, particularly through collaborations and regional partners, enabling faster detection and coordinated response to cyber threats. And third, by advancing collaborative research and innovation in emerging domains, artificial intelligence, security, post-quantum cryptography, operational technologies, OT, and 5G security. Along the way, ensuring that Malaysia and ASEAN remain at the forefront of digital resilience. These actions are how we will sustain our commitments through the 3 days of Cyber DSA. I genuinely thank you for your time and commitment for supporting Cyber DSA and being here with us today. Over the next 3 days, let us collaborate, learn, and band together to build a resilient, trusted, and inclusive digital future for ASEAN. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yang Berusaha Alisha Isha, Chairman of the Board, Cybersecurity Malaysia. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we gaze into the new horizons of digital trust in ASEAN's digital transformation. First up, I would like to invite to kindly take the stage Mr. Devesh Kuadekar, the Vice President, Account Management, MasterCard, from MasterCard for New Horizons of Digital Trust in ASEAN's Digital Transformation's first presentation. Please welcome Mr. Devesh Kuadekar.
Selamat pagi, good morning. YB Gobind Singh, Digital Minister Malaysia. YB Deputy Minister Dr. Wilson, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow participants. It is a privilege to address this gathering on behalf of MasterCard, a global leader in payments and technology that advances security, trust, and innovation across the digital economy. As ASEAN moves rapidly into its next phase of digital growth, MasterCard is committed to advancing digital trust by delivering innovations that safeguard interactions, strengthen confidence, and enable inclusive growth across ASEAN's digital economy. ASEAN stands at a pivotal moment today in its digital transformation journey. The region's digital economy is projected to surpass $1 trillion by 2030. Driven by the rapid adoption of e-commerce, digital payments, artificial intelligence, and connected technologies. This growth brings enormous opportunity, but also a fundamental challenge, ensuring that digital interactions remain trusted, secure, and inclusive. At the same time, digital trust is not just about security. It's also an enabler of economic growth. When consumers, businesses, and governments can interact with confidence, digital trust becomes the foundation for new markets, innovation, and competitiveness across ASEAN. For small and medium-sized enterprises, the SMEs, usually the backbones of most economies, trusted digital systems mean easier access to finance, smoother cross-border trade, and stronger participation in the digital economy. Trust is the foundation of digital progress. Every transaction, authentication, and exchange of information depends on confidence between people, businesses, and governments. With trust, digital transformation can truly accelerate. To build this trust, we must address a critical cornerstone, and that's digital identity. MasterCard believes a secure, user-centric, and interoperable digital identity empowers individuals to access essential services while retaining control of their personal data. By making identity simple, smart, and secure, MasterCard is helping to create a future where opening a bank account, verifying eligibility for benefits, or traveling cross-border can be done seamlessly and safely. To support this vision, MasterCard has established principles of digital identity that place individuals at the center. These principles include ownership of data, privacy and security by design, inclusion for all communities, and transparency, consent, choice, and fair use. All these 10 principles in total that ensure digital identity systems are trusted, ethical, and equitable. Here in Malaysia, the government's national ID roadmap is a clear step towards this future. MasterCard stands ready to support Malaysia's vision by bringing global expertise, interoperable frameworks, and private-public partnerships that can help accelerate adoption while ensuring the highest standards of trust and inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, building identity is one step. Protecting it is the next. Cybersecurity remains another corner milestone for digital trust. As identity theft, scams, and cyber attacks continue to grow in sophistication, MasterCard continues to strengthen defenses through its advanced technologies and robust investments. Initiatives such as the digital health check and recorded future intelligence capabilities enable organizations to identify vulnerabilities, Today, the average individual amongst all of us manage around 150 login accounts. While digital fraud occurs at 4 times the rate of physical fraud, these highlights why ASEAN must act decisively to implement interoperable user-centric identity systems. Beyond technology, MasterCard also champions inclusion. The challenge is clear. Without a recognized identity, millions across ASEAN remain excluded from financial services, healthcare, and even basic government support. These exclusion limits opportunity and widens inequality. The solution lies in secure, user-centric digital identity. But inclusion cannot be achieved in isolation. To trust and scale this across ASEAN, collaboration is essential. MasterCard works alongside governments, regulators, financial institutions, and technology providers to strengthen digital identity initiatives and ensure interoperability across cross-borders. No single actor, government, bank, telco, or a technology company can deliver this alone. It has to be a joint effort. Trust providers such as bank or mobile operators, together with governments setting national standards, must co-create ecosystems that work for people. This approach mirrors the successful model MasterCard has built-in payments connecting consumers, merchants, and banks across more than 200 countries and applies to the emerging digital identity in Malaysia as well. The horizon of digital trust is not a single destination, but an ongoing journey. Emerging technologies such as biometrics, encryption, and distributed ledger systems will play a vital role in ensuring future identity programs that remain secure, private, and scalable. By fostering collaboration and innovation, MasterCard is helping ASEAN build a digital economy that is not only larger, but also safer, more resilient, and more inclusive. Building on MasterCard's commitment to inclusion and digital transformation, the MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth and the ASEAN Business Advisory Council will host the ASEAN Inclusive Growth Summit next month on the 24th of October. Usually held in Washington, D.C. since 2019, the Inclusive Growth Summit will be coming to ASEAN for the very first time, and I'm extremely happy to announce that it will also happen in Malaysia this year, on the eve of the 47th ASEAN Summit. We intend to bring together business leaders, philanthropists, government leaders, multilateral institutions to champion inclusive growth. With a focus on digital transformation, cross-border innovation, and public-private collaboration to power SMEs, this platform will follow MasterCard's tradition of creating fresh perspectives, stronger partnerships, and new opportunities for ASEAN. For over 5 decades now, MasterCard has played a critical role in enabling secure payments worldwide. Today, MasterCard is extending that role to digital identity and trust, connecting people, businesses, and governments through solutions designed to protect interactions and unlock new possibilities. Distinguished guests, digital trust is the currency of the future economy. By working together across ASEAN, governments, and industries, it is possible for all of us to shape a future where digital growth is inclusive, secure, and trusted by all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Devesh Kuadekar, for that glimpse into MasterCard's move towards a new horizon of digital trust within the ASEAN region. And our next presentation will be from TM. I would like to invite Puan Raja Azrina Raja Osman, Chief Information Security Officer of TM, to kindly take the stage on the next presentation towards new horizons of digital trust in ASEAN's digital transformation.
Good morning, Yang Berhormat Tuan Gobind, Singh, Minister Digital Malaysia, Datuk Wilson Unggak, Deputy Minister of Digital Malaysia, Mr. Ishal, Chairman of Cybersecurity Malaysia, distinguished guests, partners, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to be here at Cyber DSA among leaders and innovators who are shaping the future of cybersecurity, not just in Malaysia, but across ASEAN. We are living in a time of extraordinary digital acceleration. Every sector, finance, healthcare, logistics, government is transforming. But as we pursue these goals, we must ask ourselves, can we ensure digital transformation leads to digital trust? Digital trust is the outcome when security and privacy by design are well ingrained in digital transformation. That outcome allows innovation to scale, partnerships to flourish, and citizens to engage confidently in digital economy. The past year revealed cyber attacks are becoming more targeted, geopolitical driven, and highly complex or sophisticated with far-reaching impact. The telecommunication sector in this region is learning from the recent high-impact BPF door malware incident that led to data exfiltration impacting over 23 million customers. At a global front, organizations are battling against advanced persistent threat actors such as Sept typhoon, exploiting supply chain vulnerabilities. The campaign involves global espionage, targeting telcos, transportation, and military infrastructure across 80 countries. Threat actors are targeting critical infrastructure, impacting national sovereignty. The UNC 3886 group infiltrated critical infra closer to home, including power transportation, healthcare systems in this region. The attacks are serious, persistent, and stark reminder that even the most advanced digital economies are not spared. It shows how cyber threats in Asia is escalating in complexity, making detection, attribution more difficult. The borderless nature of cyber threats necessitates stronger regional cooperation as individual countries struggle to combat cyber threat. These incidents are the reality that digital transformation must come equipped and built with security and privacy by design. As one of the fastest growing digital economy in the world, ASEAN is far from immune. We are increasingly interconnected, and the digital hub to global economies resulting in shared risk. There's a shift that we must embrace. Security is no longer a shield, it is a driver for digital economy. Traditionally, security was seen as a cost center, something reactive, slowing down projects or even as roadblocks. But today, that mindset has and will gradually change and shift, that cybersecurity is an enabler. It is essential in digital economy. In ASEAN, where SMEs make up 97% of businesses, cyber resilience is essential. It's what enables digital services to scale confidently, expanding beyond borders. It protects communities, ensuring consumers and citizens engage with digital services and opportunities with trust and confidence. At TM, we've seen how secure platforms can unlock growth, whether it's enabling smart services or powering cloud adoption or supporting 5G use cases. Security is the foundation that makes innovation sustainable. Last week at the GSMA Summit, the CISOs from ASEAN telcos were brought together in an insightful CISO roundtable. We agreed that the lines are blurring between IT and OT, or operational technology, as more software-heavy systems and complex architecture are deployed. As such, cyber resilience requires a top-down approach, national agenda and regional collaboration, leveraging security standards compliance that drive security by default in solutions by manufacturers and technology providers. ASEAN's digital future depends on how we build digital solutions with security and privacy by design. We welcome you to explore TM. We'd like to share with you how we are helping businesses not only defend, but grow, innovate, and win digital trust. Thank you.
Thank you, Puan Raja Azrina Raja Othman. And now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we turn to Yang Berhormat Gobind Singh, Minister of Digital, to deliver the Siber DSA 2025 keynote and official opening address.
Terima kasih saudara Terence Das selaku pengatur acara majlis pagi ini. Sahabat saya, Yang Berhormat Datuk Wilson Nak Kombong, Deputy Minister of Digital, Tan Sri Asmat Kamaluddin, Chairman ROC Exhibitions, Syakib Ahmad Syakir Jamaluddin, Deputy Secretary General, Ministry of Digital, yang berbahagia Lieutenant General Datuk Azhan Haji Muhammad Osman, Chief of Staff, Malaysia Armed Forces, Tuan Al-Ishaq Ishaq, Chairman Cyber Security Malaysia, Datuk Haji Amiruddin Wahab, CEO Cyber Security Malaysia, Excellencies, esteemed dignitaries, Yang Berhormat Tuan V. Subakuma, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, salam perpaduan, salam Malaysia Madani, and a very good morning to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, about 2 months ago, there was an event that we hosted, held at the KL Convention Center, in which we invited speakers from across the globe to talk about their experiences in the cyber realm. There was this lady who spoke about an experience of hers, which I think made an important point. She was a cybersecurity expert based in Melbourne, Australia, and she told us that she was working with a company that had developed itself over many years. And one afternoon, this company was the target of a cyber attack, resulting in which it lost half of its business, or its customers, in just one afternoon. What was interesting about the conversation was that she reflected on how, after the attack, there was this whole thinking about how we sometimes ignore the most simple things, particularly when it comes to security, in how we operate our daily lives and our businesses today. Imagine you spend years building a business, everything is going really well. Subsequently, as a result of a threat and attack, you lose half of your customers in one afternoon, and you have to spend the next 6 months just building that trust again before the same customers consider you as being an organization which they would want to do work with again. So di sini kita dapat melihat sebenarnya apa yang kita sebut sebagai perlunya untuk kita mengubah corak pemikiran kita, khususnya berkaitan dengan aspek keselamatan cyber, keyakinan yang perlu kita bina sekiranya kita nak secara keseluruhan hidup dalam dunia teknologi baru yang kita sedang lihat berkembang pesat, bukan saja di negara ini, seluruh rantau, tapi juga di peringkat global yang kita hangat bincangkan setiap hari. We have to understand that in order for us to deal with this problem, we need to speak about this problem in simplistic terms. Now, there is a simple story which underscores the importance of the subject matter. There was an event, the CEO appeared at that event, went on stage, switched on his laptop, or his iPad, sorry, and his speech was prepared for him. When he got onto stage, he switched on the iPad, but it would not switch on. It would not switch on, resulting in which he was not able to have access to his speech. Bukan macam dulu, where we have speeches written on paper, and you know for a fact when you get on stage, your speech is going to be right there before you. Tapi dunia baru. The CEO itu, he goes on stage, tries to switch on the iPad, it doesn't switch on. Was there a cybersecurity attack? No, there wasn't. He forgot to charge his iPad. And I think many of you here have faced instances that are quite similar. Maybe not fully empty, but you know, you walk into an event and you look at the battery and it says 5% left, and you're thinking whether you're going to get through that event with your screen, you know, walkable in front of you. Now, let me take it one step further. Imagine if his iPad wasn't charged, not because he forgot to charge it, but because you had a cyber attack that resulted in the energy systems in the country being affected. This is what we mean when we speak about NCIIs, National Critical Information Infrastructure. So if we are to live in a world in which all of us are going to depend almost entirely on digital gadgets of today and tomorrow, we must make sure that we have an ecosystem that provides us with the necessary tools for it to work. If there was a cyber attack on national critical information infrastructure, that would mean that we will not be able to have access to the information or the tools that we need in order to succeed on a daily basis. So it is from this perspective that one can understand that unlike a human being who retires for the night and rises the next day fully charged to do what he is supposed to do, gadgets don't operate that way. We need to think about how we can make sure that we do not find ourselves in a scenario or a situation where we are not able to access these tools which determine how it is we operate on a daily basis. This is something to think about. It's a simple way of explaining why we have to look at trust from a very different perspective. Now let's take it one step further. In today's world, we all speak about connectivity. That has developed. In the last 5 years, we have all spoken about 4G, we've all spoken about 5G, IoT. We've had various events showcasing how this new technology empowers us, transforms our businesses, optimizes the output of our industries, even develops how government operates digital services to its people, so on and so forth. In fact, as you move to the next room, you will see showcases which demonstrate exactly that. We also now speak about AI, and this is what we call next generation technology. The discussion of today revolves around AI, Gen AI, and perhaps later agentic AI, and it will continue to develop as we go along. We need to understand what this technology is, and it's only by understanding this technology that we will be able to identify every single layer that goes into it in order for it to work. And when we understand that, we will have to face this hard-pressing question of how we ensure that we are able to provide for security in every single layer that impacts on that technology, so that we can make sure that when we use that technology, it is ready and available, and it is technology that is going to be sustainable, because we can anticipate that we are going to be using this technology perhaps forever moving ahead here from. Example, we speak about robotics today. When we speak about robotics, some people visualize a robotic arm that can make a coffee for you. I'm sure you will find one of these machines, if not in this exhibition, in many exhibitions of this nature. What does it do? It makes sure that the coffee is made in the same precise way that it was made in the serving just before that. The right temperature. It tastes exactly the same, and that's how there is quality control. So it's good. But let's take it one step further. Let's assume for a moment we move into a world where you have robots managing farms. You have robots in factories. You have robots in hospitals. And you actually even have robots at home, taking care of your children or even the elderly. That is a robot in a physical sense. A robot that appears to you like a humanoid. But it can also mean autonomous vehicles that move around us without drivers, that operate on networks, that really decide how it is we transact on a daily basis. Assuming for a moment you lost control, or the robot did something that it wasn't supposed to do. This could happen because of a cyber attack. There could be an impact on the network, for example, or this could be simply as a result of a mechanical failure. Now, we speak about cybersecurity. That deals with one aspect of it. But mechanical failures are also something that you need to think about. Because when you speak about trust, it's not just about a cyber attack that results in a system failure. It also revolves around issues of how we created an ecosystem so that when we put amongst us new gadgets, robots, they will work in a way that is safe for us. It is okay if the robot breaks down. But what happens if the robot is to do something that puts us at risk? Assuming for a moment we are in this room. Amongst us, maybe about 500 people here, we have 50 robots, which we cannot control. You're going to put yourselves at risk of irreparable damage. And this is something we need to think about. Before something like that happens, we need to think about a strategy by which we build an ecosystem that enables us to assure ourselves that the system is secure, so that when we introduce new machinery into our lives on the premise that it benefits, empowers, and helps us, we've also thought about how we can ensure that it is safe. We cannot move into a realm where there is a problem, there are serious consequences, and only then the thinking begins about what it is we need to do, how it is we need to maintain that control in the event things get out of hand. This is why the conversation around cybersecurity and trust becomes so important. We move ahead in a new world where the conversations on a daily basis press us to push on in building and developing new technology. The race is on. Whilst we speak about technology here, our friends around the region, globally, do the same. We read about new inventions. We are excited by it. We too want to keep up with that. We too want to introduce new technology in our countries. And this is the reason why we have even the Ministry of Digital looking at building infrastructure that allows us to do that. So we speak about connectivity, as I said earlier, we speak about AI, we speak about data. We speak about building that ecosystem. But at the same time, we need to understand security must be the priority. Trust must take center stage. And ultimately, it is most important for us to explain this to people in simple terms so that they understand. If in the past we used to tell people to ensure that their homes were safe, because if they were to have overlooked that aspect, then you could anticipate that there could be a break into the house. Today there has to be an equal conversation about awareness, about how it is the devices that you use put you at risk, be it scams online, be it system failures, or otherwise. Now, I explained earlier to you the problem with robots. That looked at robotics in physical form. You can actually see. If it breaks down, you're able to understand what is happening because it is around you. The visuals allow you that form of security, that form of ability to understand what is going on. But the world has moved beyond that. Today we deal with robots in the virtual world. When we speak about AI, we speak about language models, which means that we are in a world in which we depend on systems that speak to us on a daily basis, that operate autonomously on our behalf, that even transact for us. They are programmed in a certain way, the transactions carry on. This happens around us, even now as we speak. Many of you are on your handphones, your smartphones, your smart devices. It's multitasking, you're doing different things at the same time. You're reliant on technology that exists in a different realm. Assuming for a moment you had a language model that you needed to deal with, you are going to be making decisions based on what that model tells you. Assuming you have to make a big decision involving a business transaction, you will be reliant on the data that you read or that you have access to on that gadget. A decision that is made on data that is inaccurate can have huge consequences for your business. How do we make sure that there is security? How do we make sure that you know that the data that you have, that you're relying on, not just for business transaction, assuming for a moment there's an incident which renders you unconscious and you're taken to hospital. And because you're unconscious, the doctors who need to treat you have to rely on medical records, only to find later that the medical records are not accurate, as a result of which you have been wrongly diagnosed and the treatment that they have given you is not the treatment that you require. Now, these are just simple examples. I explained to you how it is we see things in the physical world. There's a need for us to deal with it. There's also this different realm that we need to think about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I started off by explaining to you this example of that lady who came to our event from Melbourne, Australia. That involves the private sector. Many of you here are business people. We live in this world. We know what technology can do. We are prepared to adopt technology. We are prepared to adapt. We hope that, it will benefit us. We assume that it is safe. At the same time, we also have national security aspects that we need to think about. That is why the explanation from a robot that you can see to what happens in this new realm, this virtual world, which is subject to cyber attacks all the time. Now, if we think that it is safe because we have been told it is safe, let us go back to what happened not very long ago. That one afternoon when all of us went to our offices, switched on our computers and found blue screens. The CrowdStrike incident. At that point in time, we did not know if it was a cyber attack. We did not know if it was mechanical failure. We were in a position where we had no knowledge of what was happening right before us. That can happen right now, again. Are we ready to deal with instances like that? Assuming for a moment that involves something that was even more important or pressing, for example, something that dealt with national security, military. We have to start thinking about this and speaking about it frankly. There's a need for us to understand that we are responsible for building an ecosystem that keeps us safe. It begins with us. In order for us to have that conversation, we need to understand the subject matter. And we need to be frank about how we need to scale this conversation. We need to bring different groups of people together. There must be government in the room, because government is in a position to create regulatory frameworks, governance. We are able to put in Parliament bills that become legislative instruments. Now, when the Ministry of Digital was set up, the first thing that we did was to table the Cyber Security Act. This was done within 3 months. Why? Because we recognize that behind the conversation that we're having now is the need for us to take not just steps, but real steps to make sure that we identify national critical information infrastructure, we identify certain base standards that we require them to conform with so as to ensure that they are cyber safe, and then to create regulations continuously so as to strengthen them even more as we go along. Then we looked at personal data. We already had an act in place. We needed to think about how we could strengthen them, and that was done subsequently with amendments to the act. Subsequently, there was a data sharing act bill that now is the Data Sharing Act, which also deals with how data is stored, shared, and security levels in that process. So government plays an important role in listening to the concerns of the industry and then trying to find ways by which we can take steps to ensure that we build an ecosystem that delivers on safety and trust. But we can't do this alone. There is a need for us to speak, as I said earlier, to the industry. We need to have the experts in the room who can tell us what we can expect next, what kind of threats we think we are going to see next, so that we can start building security systems now to deal with them. And in all of this, the academia, for example, I've met many professors who have told me that we need to do more so that we can build resources, strength. That resilience will only come about with conversations where we share our experiences, our thoughts, and our concerns openly and frankly. And if we think that conversation has to be a conversation just here, domestically, I think we need to think again. If we have an ecosystem that is strong, secure, resilient, threats will come from outside of our nation. This is why conversations around us, regionally, become very important. We must make sure that we are able to speak to our friends in the region, emphasize and underscore the importance of this subject to them. And I can tell you this, in conversations that I have with them at ASEAN events, they too are pressing ahead in building security, cybersecurity, and trust in their own countries. If all of us can develop ecosystems in each other's countries that are strong, and we share each other's strengths, then I think we build a region that becomes resilient, which is what we need to do moving ahead. So this is one of the reasons why, for an event like this, when the Ministry of Digital has pressed ahead in the last 3 months, various events, using ASEAN and our chairmanship as a platform, we invited friends and colleagues of us from around the region to come and talk to us about their concerns, ideas that they have, where they think we should be moving, in which direction all of us should be heading. And conversations like this must carry on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are responsible for building the ecosystem that will bring us into this new digital future that we keep speaking about every day. I can give you my full assurance that the Prime Minister has focused on cybersecurity, trust at the forefront of his mind. This is something that we probably even look and see during the next budget session, which is in the next 2 weeks. But what is important is for us to make sure that we continue to have discussions of this nature. We are here today to speak about what we think needs to be done next. And I must thank all of you for making time, for taking the effort to coming here, being a part of this very important event, understanding that if we are going to speak about digital transformation, enhancing digital economies in our countries, in the region and globally, we understand that there are risks. We, as governments, as people, must now take that opportunity to address these risks. And it can only begin with conversations like this. So, to all of you who are here present today, all of you all who have actually made special time and effort to make this event a success, I thank you for taking the effort, taking the time. I know that this is an important event. It's been held a couple of years now. Must thank the organizers. Please carry on this great work. Let us make sure that this conversation carries on. Rest assured that insofar as the Madani government is concerned, we are aware that this is an area that must be given the utmost priority. And this is the reason why we will continue to support this event in the coming years. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, it gives me great pleasure to declare the Cyber DSA 2025 officially open. Thank you very much and have a great conference ahead.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Gobind Singh Deo. We'd like to invite you, sir, to kindly remain on stage as I invite all our VIPs in the front row to kindly join Yang Berhormat at the launch podium to officiate Cyber DSA 2025. We will now invite Yang Berhormat Tuan Gobind Singh Deo to kindly place the acrylic key into the podium to initiate the launch of Cyber DSA 2025 and the conversations that will take place ahead. Yang Berhormat, we invite you, sir, to kindly do the honors as we count down from 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Cyber DSA.
To say billions of login details have been leaked, giving criminals a learning more about the cyber attack that created a huge mess there, according to a cyber attack on a little-known healthcare company last month.
Welcome to Cyber DSA 2025, powered by Maxis. We'd like to invite Yang Berhormat Gobind Singh Deo to kindly return to the center of the stage, along with the other distinguished guests for the next parts of the event, where we will witness a series of MOU exchanges. But before we get to the exchange, I'd like to invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Asmat Kamaluddin to kindly present a memento of our sincere appreciation to Yang Berhormat Gobind Singh Deo, thanking him for his attendance here this morning and officiating Cyber DSA 2025. Thank you, Perasmian for presenting the memento. As I keep all our distinguished guests on stage, we now come to a very significant moment in Cyber DSA 2025, the exchange of MOUs between My Digital ID and the industry partners. Ladies and gentlemen, the MOU exchange ceremony signifies an important step forward for My Digital ID. Now this milestone, ladies and gentlemen, is significant as it highlights Malaysia's commitment to digital resilience and trust with NACSA, Cybersecurity Malaysia, and the various industry partners working hand in hand to ensure My Digital ID evolves.